Okay. I have those lights in my eyes again because well, my so let's start with my sleeve is soaked, and then we're gonna get to the second Trope Tuesday video and those dastardly lights. But see, then my face is dark. So two things. One, I flooded my butler's pantry today because I put the vent on, well, just now actually. So I'm making salmon chowder for dinner. And I had to put some frozen salmon fillets in the sink in the butler's pantry to thaw. And then I put the hood on over the stove, and I forgot that I was filling the sink. So then I flooded the pantry floor, and my sleeve is soaked from reaching in to like stop and pull the water. Anyway, and then I remembered that it's Tuesday. I also forgot I'm on the board of my local romance group. And I forgot our board meeting this afternoon because I was offline trying to be a good writer as opposed to like somebody just like watching the news constantly. So there has been a lot that's happened today. And then then I remembered that it's Tuesday, and because I had promised a Trope Tuesday video on Tuesday, I should probably record that, and I'm going to do it now while my soup is cooking. But now it's getting dark out, so I put this light on. I'm going to turn it off because it's super annoying. There we go. Anyway, so I'm a little bit dark, and so I'm sorry about that. But the thing is that when you're in the middle of a global pandemic, it's actually not easy to buy lighting from Amazon or like anywhere. So I don't really know how to properly light myself because I did not think this whole YouTube thing through. Anyway. All right, wow, it's already 2 minutes of Zoe going, today did not go as I planned. Anyway, I want to give another update on the Trope Project, thetropeproject.com. You can check out the survey that I have. I am, by the end of this month, no, wait, it's the end, today is the last day of the month. By the end of next month, by the end of April, I'm going to have a couple of other surveys up, but I want to kind of like work out the kinks first with the romance one, and then I'm going to do the Trope Project for mysteries and etc. And I'm super excited about this data, and from like purely from a selfish point of view, the data that I am seeing in this survey is super valuable. So in this video, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about data collection, and I want to talk about the top 10 tropes. So I have a little list, handwritten list here. Zoom in on my handwritten list, and then that will leave it. So those two things: data collection, and then this. Okay, so data collection. I have a SurveyMonkey account. I got a coupon code 2 years ago, and then I sent out one reader survey, and then I forgot about it, but I had paid for the account. So then I realized that I already had this paid account, which allowed me to set up this major ranking survey. And I have that paid account until October of 2020. It's prepaid. So, like, I might as well use it. So, this is the first time I've ever done a ranking like this. But, again, as I said in last week's video, it's limited by, like, the readers that I have access to. So I'm going to, like, expand that significantly so the data that people can play with at the end of the project, which is 3 months long, but the data that you can play with at the end is really useful to you regardless of you know, where you come from, what kind of writer you are, because not all writers are like me, right? And there are lots of people, like right now there's a really awesome free box set that's making the rounds that is literally called Love Triangle, and it's free. You can go and grab it if you want. It's got 6 full-length books in it. That's super hot for some people, and if you look just at my data that I have grabbed from like 1,300 people, they put that trope dead last. But it's still, like, it's obviously, I talked about this last week, it's obviously a huge hit. So what's the deal there, right? So one thing that I think is really interesting is the way that people will vote. Everybody votes. Like, if you asked 100 people, or in this case 1,300 people, to rank 25 tropes, you're gonna get, like, every single person is gonna have a slightly different order there, right? And so many of us have, like, exceptions, so you can't take the data as, oh, I should never write that. Anyway, If you are wondering how you can do this kind of data collection, Google Forms is a really good way to do some data collection that's absolutely free. I tried it for this project and they don't have the ranking tool that SurveyMonkey has, but like maybe in another Trope Tuesday video, I will show how you can set up a reader survey for free in Google Forms. That's a great idea, sorry. So if you want to do that, that's one way to do it. Another good way to get data is to add a survey question, one question, don't make it onerous, in two places. One, in wherever you collect readers in social media. So if you have a Discord server, if you have a Facebook reader group, put a question there for every single person who comes in. How did you find me? Or what kind of books do you like that I write? Like, for example, I write small town romance and I write Navy SEAL. And so I ask that question when you enter my reader group on Facebook. And I also ask the same question in a slightly different way in an autoresponder when somebody joins my newsletter. So my social media group and my newsletter are the two places where I ask that question. And what's interesting is that people who sign up for my newsletter, they are more likely to want Navy SEAL books, and the people who find me on social media are more interested in my small town books. I don't know why, but that is interesting data, and I will do with it what I will do with it. But that's a place where you can do some free data collection from the readers who are already invested in you. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about today, on today's Trope Tuesday video, is the top 10 tropes out of the top 20, out of the 25 that I surveyed. Which is like, that's more than a third of them. But the thing is that if you read Romance Your Brand, or if you visit my website, romanceyourbrand.com, romanceyourbrand.com/worksheets will give you this. See that? And this worksheet, it's a free, you can download the file there, or you can read about it. Chapter 19 in this book kind of covers how I do it. On the right-hand side, this is what started the whole thing. Why we're doing Trope Tuesday is because I encourage people to keep a list here of the tropes they want to write. And then you pick one of these, not one from my random list of 25, but what your own list. Pick the one from here that you think is most universally appealing, and that is book one. That's the whole thing. I had some questions from people like, but how do you know? And so data collection is one way that you can know, right? But first you make up your own list here. And so let's just say, there we go. And this is written, by the way, on a question that my son wrote me a little while ago. When is my turn to ask my question? Because he was like watching me do a video. That was another video. Okay, so here's a list, right? The top 10 tropes that people like from the list of 25. The grumpy one is soft for the sunshiny one. Opposites attract. Enemies to lovers. Friends with benefits. Fake dating. Second chance at love. Forced proximity. Friends to lovers. And forbidden love. Those are all good. But if you have, let's say you have like 4 of those or 6 of those on here, right? If the higher it is on this list, that's my best guess of which one you should make first in your series. Or if yours is not on this list, if it's something else, maybe something niche, or maybe not a trope at all, like maybe it's kind of like a low concept book, like the story, the plot points are really like dear to you and you definitely want, is there a way for you to layer in one or more of these so that your first in series book appeals to a broad cross section of romance readers? Okay, so that's the update today for Trope Tuesday. Is data collection is ongoing, and you can do it yourself. Like, you don't need to use my list, but if you want to use my list, tropeproject.com. If you want to collaborate with me and come up with other survey tools that we can use over the spring and summer before my SurveyMonkey account expires, then please let me know, and I'm happy to work on that with you. And So I highly encourage you to do your own data collection so that because this is not like paint by numbers, right? This is a series design tool that is all about getting, like, separating the wheat from the what, separate the something from the something, the wheat from the shaft. I don't know. Separating the something from the something. I feel a little bit like Brad from It's Alive right now, and I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. Anyway, this is about clarifying your own vision for a series and making it the best series that you want to write with the story ideas that you have. So if anybody was like not clear about why I'm doing Trope Project, this is why, because it completely connects to my book and chapter 19 specifically, and this tool, which is on my website, and how this is like the third step of the way, not the first. Like, you don't start with the trope list and be like, oh, I want to write some of those. No. Come up with your own idea first and then refine using some data, yours or mine, or it doesn't matter. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. If it was helpful, please subscribe so you can get more awesome writing advice goodness from me. Hang in there. I hope nobody else flooded their kitchen today. My shirt's drying out now. And I'm going to go check on my soup. And I will be back in a couple of days.